you've heard it, even if you didn't realize it. In elevators, supermarkets, waiting rooms. The soft, emotionless melody that makes you feel nothing. This is Muzak. For nearly 80 years, it was everywhere. The secret weapon used to influence how we shop, work, and maybe even how we think. Born from the invention of radio in 1922, George Owen Squire established Wired Radio Inc., later to be named Muzak. The original idea was to transmit music through electrical wires instead of unreliable radio signal. But then, around the 1930s to 1940s, we discovered that background music could enhance productivity in factories. Wired Radio Inc. became Muzak and claimed scientific precision. Every set was designed to increase stimulus progression, music with slowly heightening energy to keep workers focused. Every 15 minutes, the tempo and volume rose ever so subtly, and every 2 hours, a period of silence to prevent overstimulation. It was music purely as a psychological management system, not as art. Muzak's entire concept rested on one assumption: sound can shape human behavior without us realizing it. This belief drew from several overlapping psychological principles, one of them being arousal theory. Humans perform best at a moderate level of stimulation. Too little and we get bored, too much and we get stressed. Muzak engineers tried to keep factory workers in that optimal zone by adjusting tempo, volume, and rhythm gradually, maintaining just the right amount of alertness. This is essentially the Yerkes-Dodson law. Performance increases with arousal only up to a point. Muzak's playlists were meant to hover at that sweet spot. The second being conditioning and predictability. The regular pattern-based structure of Muzak created predictable auditory environments. That predictability reduced anxiety and distraction, which, according to behavioral psychology, can improve focus and endurance during repetitive tasks. Essentially, Muzak trained people's nervous systems to associate that steady background sound with work mode. And finally, emotional regulation. The melodies were deliberately stripped of dissonance, surprise, or strong emotion. No sudden loud notes, no lyrics, no personal message. That emotional neutrality made people less likely to ruminate or daydream. It kept mood stable, smooth, and, crucially, non-disruptive to consumer behavior. In retail, this meant shoppers would linger longer, spending more time browsing, which correlates strongly with increased sales. From the 60s to the 80s, Muzak was everywhere. Elevators, supermarkets, airports, waiting rooms, factories, even NASA used it. It became a symbol of conformism, music without personality. Artists started hating it, with Brian Eno calling it denial of music. Muzak's clients, big corporations, factories, military offices, wanted music that promoted obedience, calm, and cooperation. It wasn't about art or creativity, it was about creating compliance through atmosphere. The music essentially flattened individuality, turning the workspace into a single, synchronized rhythm. In the 90s, Muzak started losing ground. Newer generations wanted authenticity and edge, not neutral melody. Stores started to choose their own playlists, comprised of recognizable pop music. Muzak started losing business and tried rebranding as an audio branding company, something comparable to Spotify. But in 2009, Muzak went bankrupt, selling to Mood Media in 2011. However, in 2013, it disappeared. So, Muzak is gone, but not entirely. Every time an algorithm curates a playlist to keep you shopping, focused, or calm, that's Muzak's DNA. Muzak didn't die, well, the company did, but the psychology is still very much there. What Muzak pioneered is still around today. Take the IKEA for example, which forces shoppers to move through nearly the entire store. Exposure to more products increases impulse buys. Or the McDonald's with those self-order kiosks. the screens highlight upsells, combos, and add-ons, people end up spending more than they would at a counter. So, next time you're shopping, waiting, or scrolling, ask yourself, are you choosing or are you being guided? Because the soundtrack of your life might not be yours at all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you did, give it a like if you did, comment about some more examples, and if you have any video ideas, I would love to hear those as well.